The big dog Roman Reigns has been one of the most polarizing wrestlers of all time. Together with John Cena, a WWE crowd could be screaming his name with love and support, but equally, it could be met with a barrage of hate from others. After debuting as part of The Shield, the crowd instantly saw Reigns as one wrestler who would go far in the company and was a massive favourite in WWE. However, once The Shield broke up and Reigns was set up to be a top babyface, things quickly changed. His victory in the 2015 Royal Rumble was seen as one of the worst booking decisions in recent times, as boos erupted throughout the Wells Fargo Center as he eliminated Rusev. The boos were so bad that even the appearance of The Rock couldn't tone them down, and it started the trend #CancelWWE Network on Twitter worldwide. Despite the major backlash from fans over the next few years, even at one stage walking out of the main event during his match against Samoa Joe at Backlash, and the boos even travelling so far as echoing throughout Titan Tower, Vince McMahon continued to push Reigns, putting him at the forefront of every pay-per-view and main eventing 3 WrestleManias in a row. Fans would boo him at every chance they had on Monday Night Raw and at pay-per-views. Well, that's when he wasn't accompanied by his Shield teammates, the only time he got a pop, but those boos quickly turned to sadness when Reigns announced in October last year that he's been battling leukemia for 11 years, and even though it briefly went into remission, it has now returned. Consequently, Reigns was forced to relinquish the WWE Universal Championship and leave WWE for some time. Reigns would be joined by his Shield brethren Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins at the stage, embracing in a hug as they say farewell to him for some time in one of the most emotional episodes of Raw in recent times. But after being away from the WWE for 4 months, it was announced last night that Roman Reigns will be returning to WWE on Monday Night Raw. WWE revealed that Roman Reigns will be addressing his current health, but there could be something else to the big dog returning. So, in this video, we look at 5 reasons why Reigns is returning to Monday Night Raw. Number 1. Reuniting the Shield for the last time. It was an emotional night for WWE wrestlers and its fans when Roman Reigns told of his battle with leukemia, as the majority of people, including WWE wrestlers and management, didn't know what Reigns was going through, and all the reactions were very real. WWE stamped on our hearts further, as this was the night they chose to have Dean Ambrose turn on Seth Rollins and break up the Shield for the 2nd time. Ambrose then started a vendetta against Rollins, feuding with him over the next couple of months. Whilst many thought that this was done in poor taste, it was the right time to turn him heel, as arguably it wouldn't have been as impactful if it happened a couple of weeks later. Sadly, the feud was mediocre at best, and Ambrose's character was taking on a strange twist. In some of the most bizarre segments on Raw, he was getting his inoculations in the backside while delivering a promo to Seth Rollins, and wore a gas mask to the ring. His changing character was really odd, and Ambrose himself hated it. It was so bad that it was something that tied into Dean Ambrose's decision to leave WWE. Since Ambrose made his mind up and all signs point to him being decisive in departing WWE in April this year, he doesn't seem to care about his character and has gone off script. During the confrontation between him and Seth Rollins 2 weeks ago on Raw, Ambrose was supposed to say a lot more during the face-off, talking about Roman Reigns and his time in the Shield. However, Ambrose simply said, "Slay the Beast," showing support for his ex-comrade and was seemingly going through a babyface turn. This isn't surprising since after such a lackluster heel turn, WWE seems to have rolled with the idea of a face turn. He slapped Drew McIntyre in the face and challenged him this week on Raw, and after the match, he seemed to have suffered amnesia, asking where Rollins was and forgetting the last few months that they were in a heated feud. Interestingly, the siren from Ambrose's heel entrance theme also seems to be omitted. Roman Reigns returning could reunite all 3 men for one last time, talking some sense back into Dean Ambrose and allying once again to help Seth Rollins slay the Beast incarnate at WrestleMania 35. If not now, we could see the Shield reunite for the very last time at WrestleMania 35, closing out with all 3 members in the ring standing tall as Seth Rollins wins the Universal Championship for the first time. This would undoubtedly be a fitting moment for Dean Ambrose's last appearance. Number 2. Announcing he is fit to wrestle at WrestleMania 35. Now, we all know Reigns is there to address his health, but judging by his recent appearances made in the last month outside of wrestling, he looks to be in decent enough shape, and he's still got a massive physique. Pictures have circulated online of Reigns getting back in the gym and looking healthy. Reigns has also made his film debut, appearing alongside his cousin Dwayne Johnson in the upcoming movie Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. It's also been reported backstage that Vince is also pushing for a WrestleMania wrestling return, as what could be better than having Reigns announcing a clean bill of health and returning to wrestle on the grandest stage of them all. Rumours have even surfaced of the proposed match, which involves Reigns, as he's set to team up with Shield teammate Dean Ambrose and former enemy Braun Strowman as they battle to take down the faction of Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin at Mania in the 6-man tag. If he is able to wrestle again, this return would definitely be more impactful than to return at something like Backlash. Number 3. To boost ratings. It's been no secret that 2018 has been an abysmal year for WWE viewership, hitting all-time lows for both Raw and SmackDown. It became so bad that WWE had to address the situation just before the Christmas holidays and announced that they will be ushering in a new era where they listen to fans instead of constantly ignoring them. Since making a number of changes on both shows, ratings have bounced back, but they aren't consistent. One week WWE will be up in ratings, and then the next they'll be down. We're only a few weeks away from the biggest wrestling show of the year, and WWE haven't got the numbers they usually get. Thus, Vince McMahon is trying to do everything he can to boost ratings to a healthier level. Having Roman Reigns return would no doubt give a huge boost in ratings and much more added interest heading into WrestleMania 35. Number 4. To overshadow the NXT debuts. This week's edition of Monday Night Raw unexpectedly saw the call-ups of 4 NXT superstars, those being Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Ricochet and Aleister Black. All 4 superstars made an impressive showing, defeating their opponents on both Raw and SmackDown. Whilst the Raw crowd was seemingly sleeping through the surprise call-ups, they were much more livelier on Tuesday night, getting huge pops from the crowd. Even though the NXT wrestlers made a successful main roster debut, the decision to put them on the show wasn't favoured by Vince McMahon, as it seems that both he and son-in-law Triple H had a clash of opinion backstage, and Vince wants to prove him wrong. Brad Shepard reported on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast that I was told that there is a weird dynamic at play where Triple H hypes the guy and Vince tries to prove him wrong. In this case, Vince wanted to put the NXT call-ups in a hole and test them to see if they could climb out of it. So this is the metaphorical Vince throwing them in the deep end of the swimming pool and seeing if they'll drown or come up for air. Roman Reigns returning could overshadow the NXT stars immediately, proving Vince right that fans care more about guys like Roman Reigns than they do NXT superstars, and forgetting about them very quickly. It's been said that Vince McMahon has a lot of pride and will do anything to prove a point, even holding back rising stars in favour of his own. And number 5. Retirement. We hope this one isn't true, but it could be a possibility. Reigns has been battling the illness for more than a decade, and whilst he's managed to fend it off before he even started wrestling, leukemia has proved to be very unpredictable, as like in this case again, Reigns might not be able to eradicate it completely, and only putting it back into remission again. So whilst it's possible that Reigns could announce he is making his wrestling return and make his big return at WrestleMania 35, it's also equally possible that he could very well announce his retirement from in-ring competition. Reigns could even announce he needs to step away from the ring for a considerably longer time than expected, and the level of treatment that he requires might not make it viable for him to keep up with WWE's travelling schedule. Looking at the information provided by Cancer Research UK regarding the treatment for acute lymphoblastic leukemia, it's divided into 3 phases. There's the remission induction, consolidation therapy, and maintenance therapy. A lot of the process is dependent on the need for surgery and how each person responds to the treatment and chemotherapy, but the timeline for recovery is between 2 to 3 years. Reigns has only been away from the ring for 4 months, which likely isn't enough time to fully recover. Hopefully this isn't the case, and Reigns announces he's given the middle finger to cancer. But what do you guys think? Are you happy at the possibility that Roman Reigns could be wrestling very soon? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.